Hello everyone, my name is Brandy Mimms, and I'm honored to share my journey in artistic exploration with you today. This work, root in touch, memory, and vibration. It is a living exploration of how choreography can emerge from a body that moves without relying on sight or sound. Dance is often defined by what can be seen and heard. But for me, those elements have faded with time. I lost my hearing as a baby, and later my vision began to diminish as part of an Exergsis syndrome. I was afraid dance might slip away. But instead, I found a new way forward. I began to rely on touch, spatial memory, and vibration. Over time, these became not just tools for survival, but an artistic strategy. What began as a personal adaptation evolved into a new choreographic language, one that reimagines what movement can be. I lost my hearing after 3 months of birth. I was sick. I had the measles, I had fever, and my hearing ruptured. But it wasn't until later that I found out that I had Exergsis syndrome. So I knew I had eyesight problems before, but I never really understood the connection that I had with Exergsis syndrome. Now that I've learned what Exergsis syndrome is, which is a progressive disease that is no cure for it, the progressive hearing loss and vision. And what that means, I will not be able to see. I will lose my sight later on in the future. My sight will be declining more and more as I get older. My hearing, my deafness, which is already declining too. As my journey as a dancer, I remember being on stage at school, at ULA, my university where I was studying my BA, getting my bachelor's degree. I remember being on stage, and I remember when it was my first time to perform for the dance concert. And for the dance concert, I remember it was dark on the backstage and I could not see, and I was very afraid that I was not going to be able to perform. I thought I wasn't going to be able to perform because I couldn't see where I was going. I couldn't see my spot, and I was starting to worry about how was I going to be able to perform in the performance if I couldn't see. So I already had to come with a quick plan. I came with adaptation. I adapt. Adapt is something I do. So I started learning already just based on what I was going through. I had to get on the stage, and I would have to wait with the lights on. I can see the stage. I feel the space, look at the space, find my front, find my back, see what's on the floor, and then I will go to the space that I'm in the wing, and then I will walk my counts. I would count myself, count my steps to where I'm supposed to be when the dance starts, if I have to get on stage in darkness. Then I would try again. I would go back to the wing, and I would walk with my eyes closed, counting those same exact steps to make sure that I end up in the spot that I belong. It actually worked. And that's what I've been using as far as, so I know that I always have to get into the space and study my area before I perform. Also, I have, if I was on the stage with other dancers, I would ask the dancer who's on the wing with me and ask if they can assist me on the stage, and if we have to do a bow while the lights are off, I would ask them to hurry up and grab me in the dark before they turn the lights on so I can bow. And that's how I was able to get used to being on stage and dancing. But now I'm thinking about my future. My vision is going to be declining. And I don't want to stop being a dancer because this is what I love to do. So this is what my artistic exploration is about. So I came up with 2 guiding considerations. The first one is, how can I navigate and interpret performance space as a deaf choreographer? And then the second one is, what role can technology play in in changing my sensory experience. These are the process that I've had, the questions that I have for myself. And these are the questions that have become the foundation of how I design my studio, rehearsal, and create. For the lesson review, I've done several lesson reviews. For the lesson review around accessibility and for tactile communication deeply informed this work. Helen Keller, Ivan Grammer, and Janique Nico has all emphasized touch as a primary form of intelligence and expression. In my practice, touch is not a substitute, it's a source. I also found that while many inclusive dance methods try to adapt vision tradition, few begins with tactile body. That's the limitation I've stepped into. Tactile communication in art. Well, Helen Keller, Hamban Gremlin, and Janika advocate for post-tactile communication. Touch is the primary tool for choreography and connection. Theater and dance practice explores hyper-adaptation. So we use touch. We use touch when we touch each other. We use touch when we are touching the floor. We touch the environment, the space. So touch is very important. The next one is the need for tactile priming. Most indicate inclusive dance adapt visual and audio. So we only have vision and audio, right? So we don't really have anything for the DeafBlind. We're trying to build from a tactile experience. This project is proposed choreography group, the tactile navigation, feedback, and trust. Conceptual framework. One of the most important metaphors for this project is the spider and its web. Spiders navigate not by sight, but by vibration. Their web becomes a sensory extension of their body. In my work, I use rope, textile markers to create the similar web. This tactile environment becomes a living board, a space that giving feedback, holds tension, and offers direction. I move within the way a spider moves through threading, feeling, adjusting, responding. This comparison is more than a poet. Spiders sense movement through vibration. I do too. Using cane, rope, or even my own breath to gather information. My choreography grows out of these sensory cues. What others might hear or see, I feel. Every tool in my process interpreter, cane, rope, tape, even lighting, serve as both an access and auxiliary. These aren't just accommodation. They are a part of performance. They help define pathways, build relationships, and shape movements. But I would like to take a moment, if some of you don't understand how a DeafBlind individual communicate. Let's step this way. So if I am, right now I cannot see. This is a good example. I can't see you guys. So my interpreter, she will help me describe what's going on in the audience. So can you show them your ways you're interpreting? So what's going on? That's to help us know what's going on in the audience, who's in the audience. If someone is, if I'm communicating with someone, there are some awesome, I love some of these, but there are some awesome, for touch sign language, the one when someone's laughing. Just show them an example of when someone's laughing. How do I know someone's laughing? So if I'm in a professional business and I'm talking to a director or a choreographer and they don't know how to communicate with me, I will have me an interpreter with me to help me communicate. So that way we cannot have any barriers of communication and we still can get the job done. My process involves cross-sectional communication, sensory-based improvisation, journaling, and reflection. I choreograph from touch, mapping movement based on what I feel, not what I see. My studio becomes a tactile sanctuary, roped or tied at different heights and tension. Marking tape, mark the floor pattern. Everything is felt, not visualized. Tactile tools again. I use tactile tool as rope, and I use tape that's marking on the floor to create the web. So when I tie the rope across the stage and I've used the marking on the floor, I was just creating a space to see what would help me be able to still be able to perform in a space with the rope being around like a spider web. And I study the movements like spiders, and I watch how they move, and I watch how they web vibrate. And what spider web, like I said before, they move based on vibration. So with their web, they rope their web and let them know certain vibrations mean if it's going to be danger, if it's food, or if it's love. And so that's how they know by communicating through the web what's going to happen for them. My stage became my sanctuary. The stage transformed into a safe place. I listened not to music, but to the body. My choreography emerged from instinct and touch. This is not a workaround. It's a whole new assisted. Choreography insight employ different rope height and tension, continuous versus broken contact and movement phrasing, navigating, entering, and exiting with the tactile cues. Key finding. I discovered that tactile tools like rope do more than help me move. They help me create. The tactile framework led a choreography that's expressive, adaptive, and true to my sensory experience. It challenged the idea of vision and hearing are required for dance. Through blindfold rehearsal, rope tracing, and improvisation in the darkness, I discovered how movement can come from trust in the body and memory. Loose rope create fluency, taunted rope often direction, rope height changes phrasing. Each of these barriers gave me a new life to the choreography. Ropes become not only a navigational tool, but creative partner. I push, I pull, tray, and suspend myself within their feedback. They become part of the dance, offering both security and expression. Some of the movements is, like I said, rope height, stacking, impact, balance, and phrasing, entering and exiting the rope, blindfolds. I've tried to do different ways of blindfolding to the space. Marketing the tape, creating the textile floor. I did that too. Finding rope. Rope serve as a navigational and choreographic tool. My rope, as you see on this picture, I tied it across the stage. It gave me different feeling, different direction. By adjusting rope height and tension, I shape quality and phrasing. Sometimes I maintain a continuous contact. Other times, I let go and reorientate it through memory and or vibration. Movement becomes a conversation between my body and where I've created. One of my most profound discoveries happened completely in darkness. No mirrors, no sound, only breath, tension, and the rope. In this space, I found a deeper rhythm. Movement came from memory, intuition, and sensation. These are some of my videos that I have on here that shows the different ways that I've tried to explore with the rope, the tape marketing. These short videos document my practice. You'll see that the rope, blindfold, and tape create a choreographic environment built entirely on touch. Each piece reflects on deep internal trust that defines my process. Challenges, yes, there are challenges. Isolation, inaccessible environment, lack of cues, of resource, but there are some powerful opportunities. To shift dance world towards the sensory inclusive, to provide that choreography doesn't require eyes or ears, just presence, touch, and imagination. And some other, my limited reputation and resource, as I said before, we have to explain that we need accessibility in rehearsal space and performance space. Shaping, encourage and feel to design more of a space for the DeafBlind. We need to create more space to make it accessible. Most choreography will rely on sight, sound, cues, and music, but we need to learn to include textile. Adjusting the technique, that might also require me to be able to get comfortable with choreography. Opportunity, we can make a discovery on new movement, move, sensation, and memory. This journey had taught me that I don't dance despite my deaf blindness. I dance because of it. My choreography begins with touch, memory, and trust. It lives in the silence, in the stillness, and in everybody that dance to move differently. Thank you for sharing this space with me. I love to demonstrate an element of my textile wear. Let's continue pushing the boundary of what performance can be, who it includes. Thank you.